yesterday on this program, we were doing the over-unders on some of the prop bets, and LeBron James, his over-under was 26.5 points. And I made this prediction on LeBron's night last night. I believe that LeBron will finish under 26.5. I do not think he goes for a huge offensive night tonight. I think he has a triple-double with something like 22 points. Tim Legler, LeBron had a triple-double with 22 points last night. How about that for a prediction?
Greeny, that is impressive. I got to tell you, that is impressive. And I think, look, I don't think you just threw a dart at a dartboard. I think you actually put some thought into that as to why that would play out that way. I happen to agree with that going into the game because I thought he was going to have more of an influence as a playmaker, play more of a power game out of the post, set guys up more so than be a high-volume shot taker. And that's kind of how it turned out.
Right, which is easy to say now that it's happened. I said it before it happened, Tim, and so that
good for you, man. Hey, no, it feels good when you get one right? Yeah. You get hammered when you get them wrong, so it feels good 100%. To get one right.
You couldn't be more. Look, no one gets them wrong more than I do. Obviously, we're kidding around here. So I want to start with the very, very, very biggest picture. You know, it was a rough second half of the NBA season with the schedule being compressed as it was and all the players that didn't play and all that kind of stuff. We needed a great night last night, and we got it. With all the hype in the world, it somehow managed to over-deliver. How would you put into words, as one who loves it as much as anyone I know, what that felt like last night and what you think it meant as we get the playoffs underway?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Look, I've been pretty harsh on the NBA regular season and what it was this year because with all the number of guys missing games, the marquee matchups that never materialized because, half the stars weren't playing, I just felt like the regular season was really brutal. And I was holding out hope all along. I was a huge proponent of the play-in format. I love that they added this. I just thought it was going to create so much more drama to the end of the season, and it has. And so the first three play-in games weren't great. The first night, actually, two complete duds. The Memphis-San Antonio game ended up being a pretty good game, but that was a 20-point game early. So it came down to this last one, and obviously it was the biggest one, the most marquee star power matchup we could get, and it lived up to it. That was a sensational game, and it felt like this is the precipice now of what the postseason is going to look like. I do believe this is going to be one of the greatest postseasons we've ever seen. I think there's going to be upsets. There's going to be great finishes. There's going to be drama. There's going to be tight series. There's going to be some unexpected turns of events. And most of these guys are back, the stars. So the postseason is going to be sensational. And last night we got a taste of that.
Well, okay. So you know what? Let's just go there then. You're telling me you think there are going to be upsets. Let's start in the East. Where do you see the potential for an upset as we get round one officially underway on Saturday?
I think Milwaukee is the one that jumps out to me. And Milwaukee is a team that obviously has come up short the last couple of years with Giannis as an MVP, and then they get beat by Toronto a couple of years ago when Toronto bottled up Giannis, basically playing his own defense. Last year it was injuries, but also the Heat were hot. It was unusual circumstances in the bubble, and they took advantage of it. They stayed together better than any other team. So Milwaukee's failed in the last couple of years with the best record in the league. And now here they are, a little bit under the radar because they're not the number one seed. It's probably better for them, a little bit less pressure. But I don't think they've changed their identity in late games, and that is Giannis trying to isolate and take you off the dribble and play against a set defense. And that's just not his strength. He can't answer the call from deep. He's not a mid-range jump shooter. He has one way to beat you in that situation. It's get to the rim, and teams won't let you do it. And when I watch them play, I don't think they've changed that very much, despite the fact that they added Drew Holiday. It's still going to be the same formula. If they're in a one-possession game inside of 2 minutes, it's going to be the same formula. And I think it's going to fail again because I think Eric Spoelstra and the Heat know how to play him. And they're playing their best basketball at the right time of the year. The Heat, they've got everybody back. They went to the finals a year ago. They will not be fazed by any situation they find themselves in the playoffs. And they feel like the Milwaukee Bucks are tailor-made to be beaten for the way that they switch up defenses, the way they play zone, and the fact that the Milwaukee Bucks have not really changed the way they address late-game situations. I think Miami wins the close games in that series and ultimately beats them.
That's a good pick. By the way, for those of you interested in such things, you can get plus 240 right now on Miami. So you could win $240 by betting $100 if you like the Heat in that series. That's actually the first playoff game. So let me give you the rundown on the order, because these things got announced late. They just announced late last night. I was waiting to see. I'm going to go to the Knick game on Sunday, and I was waiting to see when they would play. So I just got the schedules here. So let me give you that for those who haven't seen it. Heat Bucks is the first game Saturday. That's 2 o'clock Eastern time. Then Mavericks Clippers at 4:30 Eastern. Primetime Celtics Nets. And then the Trailblazers and Denver is the late night game on that's on Saturday. Then Sunday, the winner of tonight's game, Washington, Indiana, opens up at Philly. That's the early game on TNT. Then Lakers Suns is the 3:30 in the afternoon game on ABC. Hawks Knicks is prime time at the Garden, and then the winner of tomorrow night's game, either Steph or John Morant and the Grizzlies, will wind up at Utah. That's the schedule in which it goes. Let me ask you about the Nets and the Celtics then, or the Nets in general. I had Barkley on the TV show today, and he said he thinks there's more pressure on those guys to win the championship this year, basically, than there is on anybody else. How do you assess the pressure on the big three in Brooklyn, and how good do you think they'll be?
Oh, there's no question about it. They've got the most pressure on them. And I think when you look around the league, there are certain players that have an enormous amount of pressure on themselves individually. James Harden is right there at the top. I think Giannis Antetokounmpo, James Harden, and Paul George, those three guys have more pressure on them in this postseason than any other players. The Nets, look, if you put this team together, I don't care what you went through with injuries and how much time is, doesn't matter. Any year you have that kind of talent, you have a wasted year if you don't win a championship. It's the same thing with the Lakers. If you have LeBron James on your roster as he's winding down his career, if you don't win a championship, it's a lost year. So they're the only two teams I would honestly put in that category. And between the two of those, the Nets clearly have more pressure because of what they went out and what they created. And James Harden is the guy, Greeny, that is running the show with that team. I was wondering when they put that together, how are they going to figure out whose team it was? And it's James Harden's team.